It is not that we don't have plans, or it's not that we don't have people who are capable of making those plans. But let us take this morning as a good example. The people who will give you that commitment, because you ask for a commitment, are not here. The people who would make it happen, meaning either leaders in the political scene or business world, are not here. So the best we're going to achieve here, I hope, is that we're going to discuss the issues. But if we really want to make a change as regards unlocking the benefits and ensuring the right framework, we need to talk to the decision makers and the people that will implement and make it happen. I was telling somebody earlier on that if the topic was unlocking the potentials of regaining political power, this place will be full. There will be people standing as well. But the reality is that this is the power, and this is how we get it wrong. Economic power and improving on education and power and infrastructure is what is going to reform northern Nigeria. We should continue, and so it is a multifaceted thing. It can't be just one mechanism. Starting from the top of purposeful leadership, starting from what I call deliberate leadership. Deliberate leadership means it can't happen by chance. It can't. It's not. We're not going to unlock mining by chance. Because if we ask ourselves, even in the 70s, when we had the oil map, it was not by chance. We decided in the 70s that this is our plan. So we need that level of commitment. We also need to understand, like, for example, they need to be also largely, maybe because I'm biased because of being someone from legislative, you need a legislative framework. Because some of these commitments are long-term commitments. Anybody who's going to mine is not going to see his return of investment within 4 years. He's talking about 15, 20 years. And policies are not enough to encourage that level of investment. So there has to be also collaboration on the legislative arm of government. I used to joke, my good friend, not a joke, but seriously, there was a time that northern Nigeria controlled National Assembly, executive arm of government. You ask yourself, what did we do with it? So the point is that there has to be collaboration between public sector, led by our governors, and even our governors need to work as a region, not Zamfara going in one direction, Gombe going in the other direction. We should see what our comparative advantages and come as a team, working also with the National Assembly members from the north, because there are legislation that must be passed. If they're not passed, there's no way we're going to see investment. Then we have business people also from the northern part of Nigeria. How much do we get them involved? Because at the end of the day, this kind of investment cannot be done by government. But private sector needs to be confident that my investment is safe and I am well protected. So in answering your question, there are many, many layers that need to come down. Majority of all the things you see, whether it's mining, whether it's agriculture, power, it's all about policy framework, structural deficiencies that need to be addressed. These are common. Finance and investment, we talked about it significantly. Incentives in the country. So there are many, many, many layers. So I don't...
That this topic has been thrown up for discussion. And whatever I'm going to say it from the bottom of my heart, because I am a practitioner, I'm involved. And I know where the proverbial dead bodies are buried when it comes to issues relating to mining, agriculture, and power. Perhaps let me first of all say something about the potentials of the North. The North sits on perhaps more than 2/3 of the land in Nigeria. About 70% of the arable land of these countries in the North. And if statistics are anything to go by, the North houses almost 90% of the livestock of this country. So for me, the North is not a land of scarcity. It is a land of profound wealth and abundance if our latent potentials can actually be realized. So, but why is that not the case? I sincerely believe from my experience that it's not a matter of legislation as it is a matter of maybe contextual. I don't want to say cultural, so that I don't seem to be indicting anybody. But the truth is that if you look at the delineation of powers under the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, which is the current constitution, our powers are delineated and carved out into three separate chambers. You have the exclusive, you have the one that is residual, which is the last one, and then you have the ones that both the state and the federal government, even the third tier of government, the subnationals, can act on. So most of these things, especially in the area of power, it was something that was the exclusive preserve of the federal government. It was in the exclusive lease. But I think the last House did a constitutional amendment whereby they were able to successfully remove power from the exclusive lease. That therefore means that all the subnationals too can develop mini-grids. They have been freed. So there's no more any constraint in that direction. The status quo is just to sit down and do nothing. It is not the absence of legislation, it's not the absence of policy, it's not even the absence of talks like this. Our problem is action. We don't follow through what we discuss. Now, I can say this for free. It's not that we have not been there before. We've seen, after the colonial rule, the kind of revenue they not generated. At a point, even the government at the center was borrowing money from the north. And what was the mainstay of our economy then? It was agriculture and mining. We were there before farms were established. There were mining ventures in these countries that were thriving very well. But what happened? We seem to have abandoned all those things. And that is what led us to where we are right now. So the question is that we should stop talking about, looking at people to come and invest. There is something, a fundamental first step that we as Northerners must take first, so that we can make this promise manifest to people who are willing to come and invest in this country. Honestly speaking, looking at that trajectory and the things that are happening, one is outrage fatigue. For instance, if you're talking about foreign investors, except they are vulture capitalists, not venture capitalists. The difference between the two is that the vulture capitalists will put their money and just take it out. These are rational people, rational investors. They analyze what is going on. They look at us, they look at the setting, they look at our laws, they look at tax incentives, they look at the issues of security. How secured would my investment be since I've not stolen the money if I put the money here? Honestly speaking, some of these factors are missing presently in the North. And I dare say even Nigeria. Even as I was making my way here, I was reading something about the crisis involving an investment that Dangote has put in this country. It has transformed us, we used to carry the shame of importing what we produce and exporting what we don't have. And this man has done something that has changed this narrative, restored our pride of place. I understand that there are issues, but we must insist that such efforts should never be allowed to go down. You know, the reason is simple. If we allow it to go down, then the thinking out there is that what? If they cannot protect their own, one more of us that are out and trying to come into the country. So these people are rational. They see what is happening. We don't like it. They don't like it. I understand there are issues, but those issues must immediately be resolved in the national interest. So I believe I've said a lot. I don't want to take too much of our time, but I still have a perspective as to how we can move forward in mining, in agriculture, and then even in the issue of power. There's a lot that can be done. But honestly, the first step starts with us, not legislation, not policy. I wish most of our millionaires in the north, and there are plenty of them, will find time to begin to invest and unlock these opportunities in mining, agriculture, and power, rather than ferrying our monies to Dubai, to Egypt, and to so many other countries. We are creating economic buoyancy in other regions, in other countries, while simply abandoning our people to their fate. You can imagine if we have just 1 million farms set up, or mining ventures set up in the north, employing just 50 to 100 staff. I'm telling you, we have resolved issue of food insecurity, we have resolved issue of banditry and all those associated crises. But we will do that. Can we do it?